The police. You may know them from sets like this, and this. But they are also in the game Radiation. And today I'm going to talk about them. What they have, their strengths, their weaknesses, their best uses, and some of the best counters. The police is a small faction costing only half a faction point, with only 14 units, 4 vehicles, 1 air vehicle, and a small jail. Within the 14 police units, there is 5 lightly armed policemen armed with rifles and batons, 4 heavily armed policemen with assault rifles and light armor, 4 miscellaneous policemen, and finally, the commander. Within the 4 vehicles, there is 2 motorcycles and 2 trucks with subject catching lasers on top. They also have 1 police helicopter and a traffic cone. Great, now that we know what units they have, or lack of units they have, let's talk about their strengths. The first strength of the police faction is the 2 subject catching lasers mounted on each of the 2 trucks. These lasers can capture 1 subject once a turn, anywhere within 3 tiles of the laser, as long as there is a unit in or on the vehicle. The other strength the police have is a pretty special one. Whenever a police unit is attacked or dies, they may spawn in 2 other police units for reinforcements, essentially multiplying however many police units there are in any given place in the map. They may even use this ability for police units that are not spawned in or are spawned in, and they can do it on anyone's turn. As long as a police unit has taken damage, you can teleport 2 other police units there, or just spawn them in, or a mix of both. Basically, you can teleport police units around the map. With these strengths in mind, I have 2 ideas for what I would use the police faction for. Number 1, I would use the trucks to drive around far away from the front lines, and just catch any subjects that spawn in my area. The second is exploration. I would use this faction for exploration by putting them on a boat or a helicopter and sending 1 officer very, very far away. And if he died, I just spawn more in. So that way I can get reinforcements to wherever he is extremely fast, no matter how far that unit is away from friendly lines. Now it's time for weaknesses. We all have them, and the police are no exception. Especially the police. Now, the police have a lot of vehicles, but not a lot of people. Actually, out of all the factions in the entire game, they're second to last for people. And out of all small factions in the game, they're also second to last, being just barely ahead of Blacktrons. Although they can pretty much teleport, they can't be everywhere at once. So their biggest weakness is pretty much just not having a lot of troops. If you were to pick a small faction with a lot amount of troops, you could probably take them out pretty easily, if you can catch the vehicles, that is. I guess the main concern when going up against the police faction is just having vehicles to catch them with. And for this, there's 2 factions I would suggest. The Spaceman faction and the Knight faction. Now the Spacemen don't have that many soldiers than the police, but they do have a spaceship which goes 6 tiles and does explosive damage, and that should be good enough to shoot up any police station you might encounter. Now the Knights actually have a lot more soldiers than the policemen, but they would probably be best for their horses. Not that I think the horse could go faster than the vehicle, but it's better than nothing, and better than what the other small factions have, except for the Spaceman, of course. Well, that was pretty much it for the police faction. D-Lego and Cousin, tell me which faction I should do next in the comments. Like, specifically D-Lego and my cousin. I want you guys to tell me. Anyone else, I don't care.